Okay, I'm back. So now I have all my pages cut, and I haven't actually glued anything down yet because I wanted to show you how I do it, but also, and I know you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is just, you know, gluing is gluing, and it kind of is, but on the other hand too, I want to be able to, you know, show you, you know, that you don't really need to use a whole lot, okay? So at this point, so I have the front of my gate, and what I ended up doing was, I ended up using some molding paste for mine, just to kind of give it that, I don't know, old-fashioned look. I don't know if you can kind of see that, but there's some little flecks in here that I need to, like, move out. Okay, so I was thinking, okay, so we could have like the grass is the background, and so this is kind of where you like play around. I could do this. Ooh, that looks pretty. What? Now I'm thinking this one. What do y'all think? I don't know, but then I kind of like the pop of the green back there too. I really like that. And this is kind of where you just like play with it, and you get your flowers and you see if that's, you know, the look you want. And I may not use all these flowers on the front. Let me see here. Let me get my little pretty green one in here. And I definitely want to use my bird cage on the front. Maybe I'll use my bird cage up there. Maybe. So you have that one, right? And then I'm just going to go ahead and hold this up here so I don't have to take it all off and put it back on. And we can see this one. Yeah, I think I like that. But before I move on to the next one, I'm just going to go on to the other papers and see what's up. Well, ooh, I really like that one too. Okay guys, so we have the light and we have the dark. So it's just kind of like playing. I think I almost like the lighter one now. You see? That's why I like to play with it and really decide on what I like back here. Kind of like the light there. Let's see here. Then we have, although it's okay. It's alright, it's alright. Let me see this one. That one looks pretty good too. But I'm really thinking about that first one so far. Ah! Man, of course I'm a klutz and knock off some of my flowers. Okay, so then we have that one. Nah. We have this one. That's really pretty too. If I had done my fence white, that really, well, no, maybe like a light blue. I don't know. Or even a pink. That probably would have looked pretty, but... And then the last one is this one. Nope. And then we have the white polka dot, which just, no, definitely not that. So that's definitely going to be my back page. And the reason why I'm picking this one as my back page, I'm going to explain to you. So if you have, like, you know, when everybody's like playing around with them and they're touching them, they may have dirty fingers, okay? We're keeping this real, you know, we're talking facts here. Yes, people have dirty fingers sometimes, especially the little ones. So you may want to have your darkest color on the back just to, you know, if there's any smudges or whatever. So now we kind of know what we want for our first page. Well, I know what I want. I don't know if you want that, but I want it. So I'm going to go ahead and go with this one. I'm loving it. I cannot wait to see what you all come up with. I really, truly, I hope you all post your creations because I love seeing everything. You know, you don't even have to use this fence kit for this package. You could use it for any paper collection. And you could make cards with this or whatever you want to do. That's what I love about these kits, that there's so many things you can do with them. I've already pre-cut some of my little, remember the one I was telling you about, the little, I don't know what you want to call it. And of course I'm having a brain fart because I always have brain farts. Ah! It was like a little trellis, I guess. Okay, so it comes in like these 3 pieces here. And I love that. And you know what's really cool about this? And I don't know why I didn't notice it before. And I guess because I actually didn't place like a photo behind it. I can't remember what I did. But look at these little corners. So you could literally, if you don't glue it down right here, where this is, you could literally tuck a photo underneath there without even having to glue it down. So that's what I like about that. And then all you have to do is glue right here on these edges. And then boom. Bada bing, bada boom. And then I really like this one too. I kind of like the whole layered look going on this time. Last time I did just this part, and I'm really loving this whole layered look. So, okay. Well, I am going, oh yeah, duh, hello. Okay, y'all just have to keep up with me here. I need to keep up with myself because I'm cray-cray like that. Okay, so here we go with the glue, and let me see if I have a piece of, I'm sorry, I'm just going to use a piece of craft paper underneath that I don't care about. I know that's horrible for me to say that because I hate wasting paper. But anyway, so I'm going to put this to the side real quick. I'm going to, oops, I need to cut open my glue. And I'm just going to do the very tip because I want like the smallest and finest tip, oops, around. So, make sure you don't fling that in your eye. Anyway, it hit my computer, so I'm just going to move it. Okay, so here we go. So basically, you're just going to do a real light coat. All along here, and even down in your edges, especially along the fence line because you don't want it to lift. And just make sure you do it really light, because as you press the paper down and you rub your little bone folder over it, it's going to spread. So you really don't need too much. I know it probably looks like, actually I'm not even like adding more, I'm just kind of spreading around what I do have. I really want to make sure that I get it all the way up to the edges so that my pages do not lift. So here, since I know I want to use this portion on my front, I'm going to go ahead, whoops, and put it down. See, this is the awesome thing about glue, is that you have time to lift it up and move it. And I'm going to use my fingers just at this point because my bone folder is not over here. And I'm getting some, like, see, I told you it was going to run off, so, because I did a little too much. So you just grab a little towel or whatever and get those edges on there. Where did my bone folder go? Goodness. Oh, there it is. Way over yonder. Sorry about that. I haven't gone anywhere. I'll just grab my bone folder. Okay. So now I'm just going to rub it in nice and smooth. And you can see that there's more paint up here. And I'm hoping that there is no paint on the front, because all I'm doing is just wiping off that excess paint. Wow, it did pretty good. There's very little there. So you can just take your finger or your towel real quick and dab it to lift it. Don't rub too hard, because if there's any dirt or paint on your fingers, it's going to stick to the paper. But yeah, it looks really good. It did not really get anywhere except for that one little spot. So that is perfect. So now I'm just going to put this to the side. And oh, one more thing before, because I'm going to show you, Casaw Crafters already puts the holes in them, but we're going to have to put them back in there. So I'm going to use my We Are Memory Keepers hole punch, or you can use any hole punch that you have. Okay. And all I'm going to do is, is repunch that hole. And I have to punch this out so I can see it. Okay. Repunch the hole. And so that's perfect. So now I can just put that, oops, I can see that I have a little bubble up here. That's another thing you might want to notice before you put it down. Okay. Yippers. Now it's very flat. Well, wait, two more little. There. Okay. Now, I suppose had I not used molding paste, it would have been a lot flatter. I can tell you that right now. So now I'm going to go back to figure out which was the opposite page of that, and keep all my pages lined up with all the holes going the right way, because if you don't, I mean, it'll kind of mess it up. So let me go back here and see which one. Oh, it was this dark purple. So now I know that on this page I want the dark purple. And I'm just going to show you with this page, and then this one, and then the rest I'll let y'all do on your own without me. And this time I'm going to go ahead and put the glue right on the paper, because now I don't have to worry about the fence. That is no longer an issue. So it's just kind of like getting it on there. And I probably just use a little too much, but that's okay. Because whatever excess is going to come out, I'm going to wipe it off. Yep. Oh, my goodness, my hands are a hot mess right now. They are so full of paint and glue right now. And apparently I got some sort of dye on it too, and I don't even know where that came from. So, oops. And know that if you get glue on your bone folder, remove it immediately before you put it back on the paper, because what's going to happen is that glue will get on the rest of your paper. So sometimes it's better just to like basically use your hands, but okay, it's looking good. So I'm going to run my finger along the edges just to get off any of that extra glue, and then wipe them clean. See, there's still more glue coming out. I guess I used a little too much that time. It's kind of a learning curve. It's a learning process, really. You'll notice for different glues, you'll have different reactions, and I love this glue because, and I've used it before, because the paper sticks really good to the chipboard or anything. Seriously, anything. And that's what I love about it. Okay, so now we're on our next page, and so I have the purples Oh, this is what I was going to tell you before I forgot. You see, I almost did it. And this is where I need to remind you. So, after you do that first layer of paper, punch your holes. Because you will cover it up and then you won't remember where the holes are at. Okay. Now, I can go ahead and again glue it on there. This time I'm going to use not as much. And I'm just going to ease off the pressure when I'm squeezing it. And hopefully this is the right pressure this time. There we go. So this time I'm going to go ahead and rub it real hard with my fingers and go ahead and get that glue out first. And this time it looks real good. Now I'm going to come in with my bone folder and go around the edges and get it all adhered down and make sure there's no lifting, and it's perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to do my holes once again. And I know this seems like a pain in the butt, but trust me, you'll be happy that you did it in the end. Trust me. Oops. There we go. It's probably even better to wait till the glue dries a little bit. So, but anyway, that's what I normally would do, but for video's sakes, I'm doing it now. Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of this off camera, and then at the end we'll have all the pages covered and we will be back. Hey guys, I'm back. Okay, so I have all my pages dry and I have my front here. And so what I'm going to do on my very first inside page, I am going to now get it prepared to be able to add photos in here. So on my very first page, I know that I made kind of like some templates, okay? So my templates are where I do like a photo mat and then I do my photo, okay? And I just hold on to these for like ever because I use them in my for my projects all the time, and it's just a reference so I know what size photos can fit where. Okay, and then I don't have to like remember the measurements anymore. So I always know that my mat for a 4x6 photo is going to be 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And I know that for my 3 1/2 by 5 photo, which is mostly the ones that are on sale at CVS and Walgreens and any of the other places, and sometimes like right now because Mother's Day is coming, there's a lot of places that have the 4x6 photos on sale. So these are the options that you can do. So I do know that this one the largest photo that it's going to hold is going to be a 4x6 photo, okay, and that's with a mat in the background. Okay, I'm almost 100% positive that once it's up at 5, it goes a little bit over here, so you don't want that to happen. So I do know that this is going to hold 4x6 photos. It will also obviously hold your 3 1/2 by 5, and it will not, if you do have it this way, you can add it, but it won't, you won't have a background frame, okay? And then it's going to hold like 2 wallets, and then you could have a 4x4 and then probably a 4x4, but then there's some of the photo that's going to be covered. So it basically should just be one 4x4 photo. But I'm going to show you some neat little tricks that you can add more photos into your albums. Okay, so, but for our very first page, I always have my first page as my main center page. What is this album going to be about? Okay, And I do know that since this is a garden theme, I'm going to be taking my kids out hopefully this weekend. We've had a lot of rain here in Texas in the last couple weeks, and we had a plumbing issue yesterday, so we weren't even able to do photos yesterday. It was quite a bummer. But now the plumber's gone, the whole situation is fixed, and you know, I just love old homes, okay? But so what I did was I just took a basic piece of cardstock, and this is a very light color blue. Tamara does sell solid colored cardstock. That is amazing, and I believe it's by Cartabella. So this is 6 inches, so you're going to cut it at 6 inches by 4.5, okay? So then, and even though I have most of my other papers distressed, I'm not distressing this particular edge. I kind of want to have, you know, different looks on here. This one right here, I did distress the edges, and this one is 5.5 by 4. So I know that I'm going to be able to fit and frame, have a nice little edge on the outside. So you could either do it this way. You could either have your outside, this, you know, pattern right here, but I kind of wanted it on the inside. So it's up to you. And then now I'm able to fit a 3.5 by 5 photo here. So I'm going to go ahead and place this down. You have 2 options, and I'm sorry because my table is got 2 levels on it for my desk. And I wish I had realized that before I purchased it. Now you have an option. You can either use your glue by Tamara, okay? And I'm going to do both because I love using score tape and I love using glue. So, and I usually write it on the back here, so I remember the next time I want to do one, I know what size to do it. And I'm actually just going to write it down here real quick. Okay. So that I remember and I don't have to keep looking it up. So I'm going to go ahead and I just shake up my glue just a little bit. Oops. And go right on my edges, right along in here, and I'm kind of pressing down a little bit just because I don't want it to run, and I want it like more like smooth it out. See, like I told you, this is crazy. Okay, now I'm going to put this down here, and I'm going to center it. You can off center it if you want to, but for this particular one I'm just going to center it. Okay. And where's my bone folder? I'm going to go ahead and smooth it down. Make sure it's on there nice. Okay. And if you use too much glue, it's going to run out the side. So you really want to be careful when you're actually placing your papers down at this point, not to go over the edges because you don't want to have to wipe it up and then it'll show a little shine or a sheen. Then at this point I did make my own little flags, okay, and this one I decided to do my wider flag. This one is 1 inch by 2 1/8, and then I just, you know, centered it and then, you know, just cut it with my scissors. No, you know, no big deal. You can distress these if you want to. I'm not going to because this one is white already, so I'm just going to leave it as is, and I kind of want it to be like right there on the corner. So I'm going to go ahead and this one I'm going to glue down all the way. And I'll show you why on the second flag that I'm going to do, I'm not going to glue it down all the way because you can tuck your photo underneath that and not have to glue it down if you don't want to. I'm going to move it up just a little bit and press down with my fingers. Or you can do it with your bone folder, whichever way you want to do it. Just make sure it's down there good or you will have lifting. Now at this point I'm going to do my other layering here. I'm going to put this layer on top. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do my glue or whatever you want to use. If you want to use your tape now at this point, you could do that also. On the next one, I'll just show you using my tape. One thing I like about glue is that I have the opportunity to move it pretty quickly if I make an error. like I just did. See, I had to move it over because I had it too far over. And I think it's crooked. Hold on one second. I'm going to lift it up so I can see here for myself. I think that looks good. And then I'm going to press down. Oops, I see you got glue seeping out. That's my problem. Sometimes I get a little crazy with the glue. And I'm going to smooth it down. Now, it may look wrinkly at this point a little bit, but when it dries, it's going to dry flat. So don't worry about that unless you are using way too much glue. Now, at this point, I'm going to use tape on the back of this one because sometimes, you know, tape never really loses its stickiness. The score tape. And so you can kind of tuck your... Oh, I'm sorry. This one is 3/4 by 1 7/8. Just going to do it right up here on the edge. And I'm probably going to put it down twice just because I'm using my 1/8 inch score tape, which I love this tape. And you probably got some in your last month's kit. So you probably should have plenty left over unless you've been using it for other projects, which most of us do. Okay, then I'm just going to line it up. I'm going to leave a little bit of a space here just because I like it. You don't have to. You can cover it up and then just stack them like right on top of each other, which I'm almost wondering if I should. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and not leave that space. I kind of like it better together. And I wish I hadn't lifted it up because now it's going to have a little bend in it. Now, so at this point, you can tuck a photo underneath here. Now, one more thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead because I don't like how that just looks flat right there. All I did was take one of my little Sizzix die cuts, or you can use any from your Cricut. I mean, it's up to you. I kind of like this little fence theme going on, so you could go ahead and at this point put it across here and have like a little design going on. This time I'm going to use my glue for this one because, oops, hold on, I'm messy with glue. May as well let y'all know that right now. So I'm just going to kind of spread it a little bit with my fingers. Okay. And I'm just going to put it straight across here. Wipe off the excess glue on my fingers so I can rub it in and mat it down. Here we go. I'm actually going to lift this up a little bit so that the photo can tuck underneath there, and that will dry, so you don't have to worry about the glue. If you have glue on the bottom of that piece, it's going to dry up, so it doesn't matter. I'm just going to lift it up just a little bit so that when I'm able, I can tuck my photo underneath there. And I'm liking this how it looks so far. At this point, you can add more flowers. I've got some of these. You could make another tuck spot, and I thought about this where I could do some flowers right here in this corner. And I'm thinking I may just do that. I may cut this in half and angle it. Let me see here. Kind of like this little V shape right going on here. So I'm going to move it up just a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut just under that V. like that. But this time I'm going to use a tape. And I'm okay with that because I'm going to cover a lot of this little section up with flowers, so I'm not worried about the tape. It's going to be covered up. But you could use the glue either way. Glue actually might even be better, but and I'm going to make sure that I line it up just right to where you can still tuck that photo underneath. So now you have two little tuck spots. You have here and there. So now that photo is not going anywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this blank for right now because I'm going to wait till I do my cover page with all my main flowers that I received from Tamara because I love them and they're all very colorful and they really go well with the album. So that's going to be my main focus. I always keep my cover as the main focus because that's what everybody sees when they first look at it. And then on the inside, I'm going to use much smaller little handmade flowers that I'm going to use with the leftovers from the paper. So that's why I'm kind of waiting at this point. I'm going to go ahead and cut out my stuff for the next page so that I can give you those measurements. Basically, I'm going to have 3 different page designs. This is one of them. Then I'm going to have another one that will be the 4x4. That will hold the 4x4 photos. So at this point, I'm going to make like a kind of like a typical album page that I would do where I would have the fold outs so that I can hold a lot more photos, and that always makes it a lot of fun to be able to do. And I do know that my base size for the photo page is going to be 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. Then I'll have this one 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and then this one 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So that'll be pretty easy to do. I will be right back.